Hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to the bonus episode of Assassin's Creed Liberation, in which will be the final episode of Assassin's Creed Liberation. Something that I was really hoping that I could find is an actual and accurate price list for the remaining pouch upgrades that I need to buy for what, in my eyes, 100% completion. Even though I'm technically 100%, I do want to buy all these pouch upgrades just for completion's sake. However, the only site that I found for the pouch upgrades is from quote-unquote Assassin's Creed Wiki, but the prices are wrong. Like, this one said it was like 25,000 or something for a large smoke bomb pouch when it's actually 17,500. I farmed for 81,000. If this isn't enough, then I will go ahead and end recording and farm more money and hope it'll be enough then. Before I go ahead and buy stuff, I did realize I forgot to mute my TV. Here's hoping it works. $63,000, $56,000, $43,000. Oh yeah. So that was actually more than enough. We now have all of the pouch upgrades. I believe we have. Oh, we actually don't. Go ahead and buy all the outfits as well. I thought I actually bought it. I guess I just ran out of money. This is also something I wanted to get. Moving on to lady outfits. Honestly, not really that. I kind of like Evening Umber, but honestly, I like my other outfit better. Gonna put it back on my formal black and slave outfits. Currently at 12,000. I hope I have enough to buy all the hats. I do. And that does it. So with the item upgrades already bought, with $11,000 or European credit units to spare, let's go ahead and we will show off the database. So anyone, pretty much the only thing I am going to be showing off is the only thing that really matters is the people and locations thing. I will be reading all of the people entries, but I will not be reading the locations. In future Assassin's Creed games, at the end of each stream, I will be reading new entries in the database. But I'm basically going to handle it the same way as I handle Far Cry 3. But this will be the last time I have a bonus episode where I will, at least hopefully the last time I'll have a bonus episode, where I will be reading, dedicating it to reading new entries. Let's start with Aveline de Grand Prix. Aveline de Grand Prix was born in New Orleans in 1747 to a wealthy businessman, Philippe Olivier, I think it's pronounced Olivier, de Grand Prix, and his treasured Place, unofficial wife, a slave, Jean. At birth, she and her mother were granted freedom. Aveline was raised in comfort and happiness under the protection of her father's wealth and influence. In 1752, Philippe Olivier married Madeleine de Lisle sometime after Jean disappeared. Even though Madeleine quickly adopted the role of doting stepmother in order to keep a close watch over this special talent she notes in Aveline, her world was changed forever. Troubled by her sudden disappearance, Aveline never fully recovered her trusting nature. Her curiosity, physical strength, and sense of justice made her a prime target for training by the Assassin Brotherhood in New Orleans, and she was recruited by mentor Agate, who rescued her from harassment to win her loyalty. Now, it's kind of interesting that I don't know what those icons mean, that red icon at the top right. Jean-Jacques Blaise d'Abadie, sure, was born in France in 1726 following the Treaty of Paris and the secret Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, probably butchering French, in 1763. He was made governor of Louisiana and sent there to dismantle the French garrison and prepare the territory for handover to Templar plans within the Spanish government. He is said to have died of a nervous disorder in 1765, but was more truthfully the victim of an assassin attack. I believe this guy we killed in sequence, was it sequence 1 or sequence 2? I think it was sequence 1. Moving on to Raphael Joaquin de Ferrer. Raphael Joaquin de Ferrer was born in Guipuzcoa. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm mainly looking at the right name, trying to pronounce it from that. In 1730s to a Templar family and sent to Cuba at an early age. In 1765, he worked with Governor Jean-Jacques Blaise d'Abadie to ensure the transition of the Louisiana territory to Templar oversight. Why is it some of it capitalized and some of it is not? That unlike looks so weird. Unlike Antonio de Ulloa, he was a ruthless soldier who rose to prominence and responsibility overseeing excavation research. De Ferrer was a key proponent of a Templar initiative to divert slave labor to search for first civilization artifacts. He was assassinated at a Chichen Itza worksite at the hand of noted assassin Aveline de Grand Prix. This guy was a royal pain in the ass, mainly because I really struggled with trying to do this entire thing without taking damage. Gerald Blanc. Gerald Blanc was born in Acadia in 1745 to a rebellious family whose militant actions against the English occupation. Okay, why? Why is preceded spelled like that? Preceded the great and terrible expulsion of the Acadians to Louisiana, death or hiding following the burning of their homes. Blanc arrived in New Orleans an orphan at the age of 10 and earned his keep at first as an errand boy, then as a clerk and accountant to Philip de Grand Prix. Educated, intelligent, mild-mannered, and preoccupied with justice, he was welcomed into the Assassin Brotherhood and trained as an information officer. His lifelong infatuation with childhood companion Aveline de Grand Prix is well documented, but the true nature of their relationship remains unconfirmed. I kind of felt like that Gerald was kind of like a bland character. He didn't really do much that interested me. It was clear that he was very supportive, and he almost kind of wanted to be like in the action like Aveline, but didn't really do much to gather my interest. Carlos Dominguez. Captain Carlos Dominguez was born in the 1730s to a modest family in Spain and became a sailor at the first opportunity. Hard work and skill soon made him the captain of his own ship, but soon gave way to alcohol and opportunism. This upright servant of the Templar Order devoted his life to earning and drinking a small fortune, providing safe transportation to anyone who would pay. Following the loss of his ship at the hands of Aveline de Grand Prix, Captain Dominguez was forced to reform under her supervision. He remained productive until 1803 when he was reported missing at sea. Agate. Agate was born in the 1720s on the Atlantic coast of Africa, official records unavailable. In 1729 he was taken into slavery and shipped to Saint Dominique, now Haiti, where he fell in love with Aveline de Grand Prix's mother Jeanne and was taken under the wing of revolutionary disruptor Francois Macadol. He joined the Assassin Brotherhood in 1738 and was later forced to leave Jean to prove his commitment. Following a failed poisoning attempt against the white colonists in Saint Dominique and Macadol's subsequent execution, Agate fled to Macadol. That's interesting. I can't remember what. I can't remember if that's the same. Supposedly the same. It's probably a different Macadol, but I'm trying to remember what the guy that I killed in my sequence 2, what his name was. Because it's either Prince Walm. It's I know he's like a Mackendall. I just can't remember what his actual name was. Might be a different person. In Mackendall's subsequent execution, Agate fled to Louisiana, a marked man, and hid in the bayou. Unable to restrain mounting Templar influence alone, he soon recruited Aveline de Grand Prix and Gervais Blanc into the Assassin Brotherhood and trained them. Racked by a lifetime of abuse, violence, and paranoia, Agate eventually succumbed to self-doubt and died a suicide in 1777. He never saw closure for his life's work. Honestly, then thinking about his death at the end, I never really understood why he was so convinced and distrustful of Aveline's motivations and her character. Because throughout the story, she's just kind of been proven, in my opinion, to be like a good assassin, but it's just, I don't know. I've noticed that a lot of assassins in the lore just kind of had their own like interpretation of the tenets, like especially like Altair. Like he was kind of like the first one to do this, but it's just I honestly feel like him killing himself because he was convinced that Aveline had betrayed him was just kind of confusing to me. But I'm gonna be honest with myself. I mentioned that there wasn't that many things that confused me in the story and when I was going over the credit scene. When I was going over my experience with this game in the credit scene, but that part, upon reflection, it's kind of confusing to me. Madeleine Delisle. Madeleine Delisle was born in New Orleans in 1732, the cherished daughter of a wealthy merchant family. A beautiful woman with a keen intellect and a sharp sense for business, she married Philippe d'Olivier de Grand Prix in 1752 for the benefit of her family business, and later devoted herself to raising his daughter by a previous union, Aveline de Grand Prix, in order to groom her for induction into the Templar Order. Possessed of a calculating genius, she secretly oversaw the release and transit of slaves and even freed black people, including Jean, Aveline's mother, from around New Orleans, who worked camps at excavation sites devoted to the search for first civilization artifacts. She died in 1777 following the decimation of the Templar Order of New Orleans in an assassin brotherhood plot by Aveline de Grand Prix and her cohorts, and was laid to rest in St. Louis Chapel in recognition of a lifetime of service to the people of New Orleans. The assassins left no evidence, other than the many people in the crowd that were cheering her on and bore witness to her assassination. Yeah, they left no evidence. Just witnesses. Philippe Olivier de Grand Prix. Philippe Olivier de Grand Prix was born in France in 1722 to a successful merchant family. As a young man, he moved to Louisiana in search of even greater prosperity and established a trading business, shipping goods from the New World to the Old. In 1744, on a trade mission to Saint Dominique, he purchased John and took her as his Plessy, unofficial wife. In 1747, their daughter Aveline was born in New Orleans, and he experienced personal enlightenment that saw him free them both. In 1752, he married Madeleine Delisle. Some years later, John disappeared, leaving Aveline in her care. A loving father, Philippe Olivier, saw to Aveline's re-education and business, ensuring she would grow into a woman of independent means, even if the law technically prohibited her from inheriting his estate. He died painfully in 1776, a victim of systemic poisoning, after discovering evidence of Templar interference in his business. Huh. That's interesting. Antonio de Ulloa. Antonio de Ulloa was born in Spain in 1716. A prominent scientist and intellectual, he and a fellow researcher were the first to discover the element platinum. Huh. He was subsequently captured by the British but released thanks to his connection to the Templar Order and made a Fellow of the Royal Society of London. He established the first museum of natural history, the first metallurgical laboratory in Spain, and the observatory at Cadiz, all the while acting in service to the Templar Order. In 1758, he became governor of Huancavelica in Peru. And in 1766, he was appointed the first Spanish governor of Louisiana. He attempted to impose trade restrictions favoring Templar interests, but was ousted from the Louisiana Rebellion in 1768. Following an ultimatum from the Assassin Brotherhood, he withdrew from public life in Templar service. He died peacefully in 1795, an old man. That's nice. Not everyone that comes across an assassin has a happy ending. John. John was born on the Atlantic coast of Africa in the 1720s. Official records are unavailable. She was taken into slavery as a child and transported to Saint Domingue, present-day Haiti. In 1744, Joan was purchased by Philippe Avier de Grand Prix, who took her to New Orleans. She became Miss Plassey, unofficial wife, and was granted her freedom upon bearing him a daughter, Aveline, in 1747. John vanished from New Orleans in 1757, leaving her daughter behind. There's more to the story. Look for this is referring to her diary pages, which I collected and read all of them in previous streams. Want to hear more of her story? Go back to those previous streams, but I'm not rereading them. Gilbert Antoine de Saint-Maxent. I have no idea who this is. Gilbert Antoine de Saint-Maxent was born in 1724 in France. At 23, he immigrated to New Orleans and enlisted in the military. He married the wealthy Elizabeth LaRoche and used a dowry to open a building on Conti Street to supply fur traders. When West Louisiana was given to the Spanish, Gilbert Antoine was the first Frenchman to pledge his allegiance to the new governor, Antonio de Ulloa. As a result, he was imprisoned in his implantation during the Louisiana Rebellion in 1768. The governor was ousted by the Superior Council. Once the Spanish reclaimed the colony in 1769, his daughter Marie Elizabeth married the next Spanish governor, Luis de Uzanga. During his life, he was an confidant of the militia of Louisiana, lieutenant governor of the province of Louisiana, West Florida, and captain general of the new Bureau of Indian Affairs of Louisiana, West Florida. Again, I have no idea who this person is. I don't even remember him in the story. But that does it for all the new characters, all the people. Moving on to locations, New Orleans. Again, I will not be... oh, you can't even actually read about this. This is just... pressing A. This actually can't be read. This is just pictures and locations. But I guess I'll just show the pictures. I'll actually go back to the beginning because I was kind of going through that pretty fast. In fact, I'll actually... show it in reverse, but I actually can't read about these informations, presumably because most of these are fiction, or probably all of these are fiction. But yeah, you can just look at it, I guess, but there's nothing to read, sadly. And you can't read about the Fort St. John, presumably because it probably doesn't exist. Can't read about the platform of Venus, probably because it doesn't exist. Usually when they do locations, I can't even read about the Taylor. Usually when they do locations, it's like historical monuments that you can actually read about. At least I'm pretty sure that was the case in previous games. But that about does it for all the entries. There's nothing else to do here. There's user manual, but it's just like tutorials. But that does it for this game. This bonus episode is finally over. And now, for real this time, we are going to uninstall this game and I'm going to end this episode. But something that I want to check first, before I start streaming, I have to check stats. You can see that I'm at 100% completion right now. Xbox has something called stats where you can just see how close you are to completing. And you can see for Assassin's Creed Remastered, I got over 6 days of playtime. Presumably for Assassin's Creed 3, I'm not, or maybe even for the whole thing. You can see like I'm gold rating for pretty much everything. 100% total synchronization for AC3, 100% story completion. AC3 is total kills, blah, total assassinations. Here is time played for Assassin's Creed Liberation. Total synchronization is 100% complete. And even though I got the achievement for getting all the mission constraints for the main story, I'm at 99% story completion. And sadly, I can't even compare to any of my friends because they just don't play this game. But yeah, you can see my stats. But this is really going to trigger me, but there's nothing else I can do in this game. In fact, before I end things off, I guess there's something else I could do, and just to verify that I did complete every mission and I did get 100% sync on it. I really don't understand like what happened, but if we go into database, DNA, sequence 1 is called Only a Nightmare. That before when I was in the credit scene talking about the introductory scene, I called it like Nightmare or something. But it's called Only a Nightmare. You can just look at the missions. I got full sync on it. The ones that have the optional objective, I got the optional objective for it. It's just I don't understand why. In fact, I don't even need to show it, because if I'm missing any optional objective, if I'm not getting full sync, the bar wouldn't be filled in all the way. You can see by just me going through each sequence, I completed it every mission and I got each bar filled in. The only thing that I may be missing is an E, but yeah, should have on the Citizen E. I just don't know what I'm missing because I do have everything. But yeah, it's just like a glitch that is just triggering me. Let me go ahead and go to the main menu. We will uninstall this game for real this time. And this game is finally done. The bonus episode is over. That does it. Thank you guys for watching. See you all next week when I start Stardew Valley.